to wait. I choose to wait because I have a higher vision for my life. I believe that there's a husband or a wife out there for me. And I want to give myself to that person fully, and I'm not budging until then. You know, and it's not easy. I mean, literally, we've had pins thrown at us during performances. We've had, you know, they've got war stories from going onto these stages day in and day out and being voices of the truth. And so, for me, it's just an honor because I know that they are literally, by their very lives, they are transforming this generation. History is shaking and shifting because of their just attitude of servanthood. They do sacrifice. You know, they get up. Some of them are driving an hour every Saturday morning to get here. So, which means, and practice starts at 9. So that means instead of the coveted, you know, Saturday morning sleep in, these guys are getting up really early and putting in the work when we get here. So, can we just stand? This year, what you just saw was just some small, very scaled down. Obviously, the whole team wasn't in these pieces, and these were very scaled down snippets of what we do in our 45-minute presentation. We, in the last 3 years, have spoken to over 20, I think the number now is 24,000, maybe 25,000 students in the greater Indianapolis region. And this past performance season, we were able to travel up to the edge of Chicago, Crown Point, Indiana, twice, where we participated in a few rallies there, or a couple of rallies there, and spoke to between 1,500 and 2,000 students up there. We've done 11 performed public appearances this year. 7 of those were actually in churches or ministry type settings, and 4 of those were in public high schools. I'm not sure what the count is on all the students that we reached this past year, but we're not really keeping count. I know that money people like to see numbers. You know, we have to quantify things in that kind of regard. But to me, the greatest victory of Breakdown has been the lives of these young people, and to see what's happening internally. Internally, I've seen these guys go from not only character-wise have I seen their character change and shift and grow, but competence-wise, their skills. You know, some of these students come in here with no background whatsoever, and some of the things we throw at them, you know. But I've seen them grow, and we're just in our infancy. We're at the very door of what God has for us. So I just want to thank you guys for coming and seeing what we're doing. I will read this. Eastgate, one of the corners we're turning, Breakdown is one of the performances out of a crew of artists. I'll have to read this because I wrote it. The Eastgate Repertory Company, which will debut in 2010. A repertory company, for those that don't know that language, is basically a gaggle of people that have a gaggle. Y'all ever heard that word? All the teenagers like, huh? I pulled that one straight out of the English books, gaggle. Anyway, so it's going to be the repertory company is a group of people with a group of works, if you will, that we present. One of the things in our year, basically weekly, we would get calls from pastors. Suddenly, they call me 2 days in advance and say, "Hey, can Breakdown come and do something at our youth group tomorrow night?" And I'm like, we have a show. You know, we have like, things, sets and things and bands can you just send somebody? And so that's when it occurred to me that really these are not only artists and performers, but ministers. And so the rep company, what we seek to do is to train on 4 areas: character, calling, competence, within the context of community. And what we're really trying to develop here is a community of writers, painters, sculptors, speakers, dancers, actors, musicians, singers, directors, and producers who can ascend, I keep saying the mountains of global influence, but maybe that sounds too lofty, but it's true. But who can ascend the mountains of global influence: education, family, business, media, art, entertainment. I mean, all these mountains, government, that ultimately God wants to raise up messengers who go into those mountains and bring Him, bring transformation. Well, they bring Him, and in bringing Him, they bring transformation. So, this is what Eastgate Studios is. And so our rep company features Breakdown. Breakdown is one of the shows within this repertoire and this rep company of Transformers. So that's one of the changes coming in 2010. Another change is that we have reformers in residence, is what I call them. So along with Breakdown, a reformer in residence, we have Bound for Life in Indianapolis, which is a prayer and repentance movement for the ending of abortion. We also have Uproot Media, which is a film and video production company that produces short films and documentaries. We also have Contend Music, which is a record label where we sign artists that write music that they have, I say, pulled down from heaven. The Bible talks about having eyes to see. That's our filmmaking department, and ears to hear. Basically, artists and musicians and producers and directors who have consecrated themselves in prayer and in fasting, and really, actually, some of the greatest compositions and works of art that have ever come into the culture have happened during spiritual awakenings. People who were plugged into the source of creativity, which is God, and fleshed it out in our day and in our culture. So Contend Music will be one of the outlets for that. In January, we are launching a capital campaign called Elevate. This is a $500,000 capital campaign, and we'll be securing a home, a facility in downtown Indianapolis where we'll be able to build out our production facilities and our dance studio and have a small performance studio venue where we can host live shows on a weekly basis. So this is what we're headed. This is where we're headed. This is what we're doing. You can find out more information about it on the table. I'm glad you guys came. Just hang out with us. We're just going to keep our doors open for the next hour, and we will probably do this presentation again to get some more people in the door. But meanwhile, thank you guys for coming, and thanks for